Kogaga. Sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara dukkha, sabbe dhamma anattati. So all of us must pass away, and what we have left then is the goodness and the bad deeds that we create, but all other things we have to leave aside in this world. And we're not able to escape death. And no matter how wealthy or poor we may be, that we all turn into ghosts. And this is something that no matter how much we may try to stop, it happens for us. If not today, then in the future. So I ask for the opportunity from the Venerable Senior monks, the other monks, to speak on the Dhamma, and my blessings to all of the laity who have gathered together, all of the friends of Venerable Thaniyo. So separation, it's one part of such a Dhamma, of the truth. It's a part of nature. The separation of leaving and not returning, of sleeping and not waking up, of not coming back. And this is something that no one can escape from. So therefore, in this coming, gathering, and also in separating, this gives us some news, information about the truth of life. And that there is this Dhamma element, so like the nature of the physical elements and of the khandhas, that their truth is like this. And we should take this within ourselves to be a reminder, to be a source of recollection, so that we can caution and remind ourselves. And if we're able to caution ourselves, then we'll bring up a feeling of not being heedless, able to reduce the things that blind us, which are the defilements and craving and conceit. And so this mana ditti then, so mana is a giving of importance too. So feeling this self-importance. And when we have that, then we become forgetful of ourselves. And so we become deluded in the world, intoxicated, we become blind, and the world leads us along into heedlessness. So we need to take this nature of separation as a reminder for us to not be heedless. We need to caution ourselves, to remind ourselves, so that we are not careless. So the Buddha said that we should caution ourselves, remind ourselves, and if we don't do that, then who is going to do it for us? So we've all come here and we've touched with this nature of separation from our friend. So we're all friends together in old age, friends in sickness, and friends in death. And we can use this as a skillful means for us to change and adjust ourselves, to give rise to a releasing, a letting go, a putting down, and that in turn letting us become free, having a feeling of ease. So the teachings which allow us to get to know how to change ourselves, to adjust ourselves, and say these are the devas, which is beings who are exalted, excellent. So the deva dutas then are those who give news. Deva is an excellent being. A dutta is this giving of news. So Devadutta then is one who gives excellent news. And so it's this then leads us to the seeking out, to developing ourselves, to allowing ourselves to become free from the things that blind us. And this is a Devadutta. And so there is this pain, degeneration, disintegration, and there's release as well. And we should take all of these to reflect upon and contemplate. As old age is something that we don't want. Pain, we really reject that. And decay, we don't accept that. All of these things are not convenient. They give us dis-ease. Dis-ease in the body, dis-ease in the mind as well. And then the heart becomes anxious. We have all these pained and agitated moods. So the Buddha contemplated that we need to find a way out of this. He contemplated how there is darkness, and so there is light as well. And that light cures the darkness. And there is heat, but that also has coolness to cure it. So with the suffering in the heart, surely there must be something that can cure that as well. And so he had this feeling, and then he sought out a way to change himself, to change his state, so that he wasn't binded by anything and wasn't blinded by anything. So when this happens, then we see the Dhamma, and see ones who are seeking out the Dhamma. So a samana, one who is at respite, one who has found peace. So there is the kind of external sense of this, like we leave unpeaceful places and we come to a place where we feel spacious, where we feel free. And so there's a quality of release there, of not attaching to things. And so internally then, this is becoming a refuge for ourselves. And so he wanted us to find this place and to seek out and to understand the points that are dangerous for us and the places which are not pure, which are not clean. And so there are these roots, root kilesas of greed, hatred and delusion. And we probably all know of these well already. These are the things that bring agitation and heat to the heart, and so that we don't feel happy. So he told us about these. There's the raga kina, so the fire of lust, the dosa kina, the fire of anger. And these are fires that burn the heart, and so that we don't feel at ease. There's moha kina, this fire of delusion, of not knowing. And these all appear within our minds, the objects of our minds. We're probably all aware of these. So we have this materiality, the rupa, and then nama, which is the immaterial things. So the rupa Dhamma, it's material things, and it's this body as well. So like today we have this ceremony memorial for the departing, separation from Thaniyo. So this is the physical body of the earth element, the water element, the air element, the fire element. And these all have their duties to degrade, to deteriorate, in the end to disappear. When they break apart like this, then they turn back to their original state, which is just natural elements. Natural elements that don't belong to anyone. They're just the state of Dhamma. And this is what the physical Dhamma is like. And it has its duty to be like this, to fall apart like this. So all of us, we have these parts within us as well that constitute our own bodies. And we also have the qualities of mindfulness and wisdom. This quality of mindfulness, of sati, has great benefit to it. We're probably aware of that. It gives us a knowledge into what things are appropriate and inappropriate, so that we can do our duty as well. So like driving a car, that we can look to see is there anything obstructing our path, and if there is, we can reduce our speed or we can stop the car altogether. And so it's similar then for us in our lives. We have mindfulness in the communities and society that we live in and the things going on around us. And also with regards to the dhammas that bind us, we cling to, these loka dhammas. The things that are there within society that everyone needs to meet with, such as praise and blame. And these are things which are already there. And we can see this praise and blame. It's not something which belongs to us, but it belongs to the people who do it. So if someone blames us and we listen to that and we take it personally, then we're not free. So we need then to release our clinging to that. And so it's like when we care for someone who is ill, so a doctor or a nurse, for example, and they're looking after a patient, and it's normal that for the most part these patients are anxious and they also have a lot of physical pain. And so what they just naturally do then is release their feelings. But we understand that that's just something that they are doing. It's their own actions. And we don't take it personally. We don't pick it up. We don't use it to jab ourselves. But rather we see that it's just this feeling that's coming up within this person. So the Buddha gave this kind of teaching to his last disciple, Subhata. And he told Subhata that in the seeing there is merely the seeing. In listening there is just listening. It's not me, it's not mine. That we should put it down, let go. And this is what the Buddha told to his disciples. In order for them to put down any feelings of suffering within their hearts. And there was also one disciple who asked him, how can I practice so that the Lord of Death can't find me? And what the Lord of Death here means, it's either death or it can also mean clinging or attachment. And the Buddha said that you should view things in the light of not being me, not belonging to me, bringing the mind to a state of peace, to a state of ease. So having a feeling of peace, the mind being at ease, this is a samana. One who doesn't have suffering within the body, within the mind. The suffering of the body, this is a natural thing. But the suffering of the mind is something that we can let go of. And if we do that, then we come to peace. So whatever place we're in, whatever community we're in, we see that all the things that arise are normal things. Sabbe sankhara anicca. The sankharas, conditioned phenomena, so the physical conditions, the conditions of the body, and that these are impermanent things. And then there are the conditions of the mental conditions, the citta sankharas, and these are also impermanent things. They have the characteristic of being like a cloud in the air that moves along and changes as well. And when the cloud moves in front of the sun, we say that it's the sky has now become impure, or it's not clean. But then as it passes along, this clean light is able to shine through once more. So that change happens then, and the light can come back. So the Buddha had us establish our mindfulness. And so the mindfulness in the beginning is walking in the footsteps of the Aryas, of the noble beings. So he had us establish our mindfulness in the place where we are, in the area that we're in. Just like when we go to survey a piece of land, we need to look at what that land is like. And so the Buddha had us survey and observe, have mindfulness over this place that we're in, which is kaya-kada sati, and so mindfulness over the body. So what does this body consist of? There are many different parts within the body, and these are things that we should establish our mindfulness over. And when we do this, then we gain the feeling that it's just a body. It's just a collection of elements. And there's some potassium and carbon and sodium and different natural elements within the body. And when we can view it in this light, then we extract the lust and the importance that we give towards bodies. When we don't have lust towards bodies, then we experience seclusion, that we see it as just being a body. It's not me, it's not mine. When we can view things in this way, then we gain energy. So just like when we eat food, and the body gains energy, even though there may not be that much energy there within the food, the body is still able to gain energy from it. And so it's the same then for us. And when the body is at peace, we experience the seclusion of the body. And the greed, hatred, delusion then reduces and reduces. The agitation, the disease that we feel reduces and reduces. And when there isn't this heat, then we say that what's there is coolness. So this feeling of coolness, to phrase it in the way that monastics use, it's like a putting out with no remainder, a total cessation. It's the coolness, which is Nibbana. And Nibbana means the mind which is cool, the mind which is clear, which doesn't have any suffering, and there's no difficulty or blame within it. Another kind of mindfulness is that which is established over the immaterial dhammas. So Vedana, the feelings of pleasure or displeasure, for example. And so there's this sukha, this happiness in the mind. There's a delighting or a satisfaction in the mind. And there's also sadness, suffering and dissatisfaction in the mind as well. And these are things which we should establish our mindfulness over. Because when there is happiness, this is something which leads us into becoming deludedly delighted, and which gives rise to attachment. So we should see then that it's merely happiness, merely pleasure. And it's not something which is perfect within itself, that it has faults in it. Just like the nerves in our body, the nerves in our eyes, for example, that we may say that the eye, it doesn't have any fault to it, but it actually does, because there are things that it depends upon. So the environment, for example, that it needs light in order for us to be able to see. So then we need to view this happiness and delight in a way that allows us to let it go, to release. Because otherwise it's something which is sticky, which obstructs us, what we call a nivarana, a hindrance. So this kama chanda, sensual delight. So we should see that even though there may be liking or disliking, there may be pleasure or displeasure, but all this is a feeling. It's just a feeling of happiness, a pleasant feeling, an unpleasant feeling. When we see it like that, then we can put it down. We can let it go. And this letting go, it's actually not something which is too difficult to do. The people of the old times, they said it's just like a drop of water on a blade of grass. And so we then need to establish our mindfulness and see how these feelings are beyond our control. Whether they're pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings, we need to forbear with them. And in no long time they will change. And then they're not able to overpower us. That this happiness, or pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings, they can't overpower the mind. And so all of these pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings, they're like clouds. And if we can view things in this way, then we will feel at peace. We'll have this feeling of not being pulled into liking or disliking, but rather seeing them as just being nature. And this is the Dhamma of nature. So when we see like this, then we see the truth. And we touch this truth. And we're able to kind of toss out or put down things that are heavy. And when we do so, we feel light. So by putting things down and feeling light, what we're doing is walking towards our goal, this goal of right view. We can phrase that as the middle way. And so part of this is samaditi, this right view, this goodness. This is something which we should study. And also, when we do that, we gain the wealth of metta, of this goodwill. You become someone who is imbued with metta. So when we associate with people like this, we can say that we receive inheritance from them. And so there is this noble wealth. So for us coming together for this memorial separation, you can use that as a means for us to bring up mindfulness, so that we're able to change ourselves, so that we're able to see the drawbacks in the cycle of samsara. And then we can feel bright and joyful, because we are accumulating our supplies and gaining our inheritance of goodness here as well. So this inheritance is something that you have all received already now. And this is an opportunity that you have. So today you've come together for this memorial for our friend in old age, sickness and death, Thaniyo. And we have this information, this teaching, which we can use to remind ourselves and to bring up our mindfulness. so that we can change ourselves to become one who has Dhamma. And so I'll leave these words for you to reflect upon. This is probably enough time for the talk now, but I wish to give my anumodana to rejoice in all of you who have given importance to this. And may all of you have happiness of the Dhamma, of the teachings of the Buddha. And may this be your inheritance, and that will be of great benefit for you for a long time to come. So I'll ask to finish the talk here.